Meantime, yesterday, several civil rights organizations, including the Anti-Defamation League and the NAACP, took out a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times urging big advertisers to boycott Facebook next month. The campaign, #StopHateForProfit, is in response to what the group says is Facebook's repeated failures to address hate on its platform. CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who's also faced criticism from inside his own company, says people will now be able to opt out of seeing political ads on Facebook. Joining us right now with Jonathan Greenblatt. He's the CEO and the National Director of the Anti-Defamation League. Good morning to you, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about this effort and tell us specifically, you've been in talks with Facebook for quite some time about this issue. What's the back and forth been like?
It's been challenging, Aaron. Look, we have been working with Facebook for years. We have a center in Silicon Valley that deals with hate speech on social media. And Facebook, which is far and away the largest such platform in the world, we've been engaged with them over the years to finally do something about hate speech. And we felt like in the wake of the death of George Floyd, it had just reached a boiling point, which is why the NAACP, Color of Change, Common Sense Media, Sleeping Giants, Free Press, all these groups came together to finally say it's time for Facebook to do something. It's time to stop hate for profit.
And so what have your conversations been with advertisers? Because as you know, advertisers have been reluctant to jump into these debates. And frankly, given the fact that Facebook has such a large market share in terms of online advertising, especially during this pandemic, I imagine it must make it harder for businesses to make a decision like this.
Well, yes and no. We've actually had a number of conversations with big Fortune 500 brands we're talking to right now. Remember, the campaign just launched yesterday. But what's important is that this isn't a boycott to permanently abandon Facebook as an advertising platform. This isn't a walkout to say you should never use the service. This is a pause to show Facebook that there are consequences when it doesn't deal with the racism on the platform, when it doesn't deal with the conspiracy theories on the platform, when it doesn't deal with the anti-Semitism and Holocaust denialism on the platform, and frankly, all forms of hate. I mean, at the ADL, we track extremists, and we found white nationalists literally using Facebook to organize their efforts to disrupt the protests over the past several weeks. We saw examples on Facebook of conspiracy theories that George Floyd was paying protesters, that George Soros, was paying protesters, or that George Floyd was some kind of actor. Look, the time has come for the company to say, we are not going to allow this kind of hate, which is further dividing our country, to proliferate on their platform. And businesses can make these decisions all the time. Businesses have the right to say what will happen in their store or on their service and what they won't tolerate. And I think as the country struggles with issues of racial justice, as the country struggles with issues of extraordinary division, we think rather than waiting for Washington to act, business has a role to play to say, we support the quest for racial justice, we support the quest to tackle hate, and we want to push Facebook, show Facebook that if they don't take action, the bottom line will suffer.
You mentioned government and waiting for government to act. You know what's now on the table. Do you think that Facebook and other social media platforms should be liable for the information that's on their service?
Yeah, I saw Joe's talk with my former colleague, Anish Chopra, just a few minutes ago. 230 is very complicated. The reason why we have the internet that we know today, from Facebook to Wikipedia to so many other services, is literally because of the creative latitude that 230 provides. But let me tell you something. When they drafted that, 20 some odd years ago, the intent wasn't to think that companies would allow neo-Nazis to manipulate their services. The thought wasn't that it would allow racism to proliferate. So whether the company should be liable or not, whether they have a legal liability, I would argue they have a moral liability to do more, to make sure that all of their users are safe and secure.